Hey guys, Tessa here. I have a new layout with some pictures that I took at Easter a couple years ago. I went ahead and cut them to 4x4 and matted them with a light pink cardstock. Here I'm picking out some papers that are from a couple of different lines that I thought would go well together. I started off with the background. It is like this light kind of olive green stripe, and I put some gesso on it. Didn't feel like using a paintbrush, just mostly used my fingers, spread it around. Sorry about this video. There's a couple times in here, I don't know if it's because I sped it up or what, but it just kind of pauses. Just trying to dry the gesso, get it dry so that I could apply some colors to it. So I'm just hitting that with a heat gun for a few minutes. I found these masks at Michael's. They are Mod Podge masks, and they were on sale for $1.50. So I picked those up because masks are always useful. But I sprayed it with some homemade alcohol ink that I made from Sharpies, and it wasn't showing up like I had thought in my mind. So I just kind of started spraying them around on the gesso and hitting them, blasting them with some heat, and it just kind of made these like watercolored type puddles on the page, and I started liking that. So I did a couple of those. Excuse me. Having some congestion today. Then I started using my homemade modeling paste that I had made the other day with the baby powder. They have quite a few videos on that, so if you want to check that out. This recipe actually works really good and dries pretty fast. So I think it's like 1/4 cup of baby powder, like a tablespoon of white acrylic paint, and like a tablespoon of like school glue. And then you just kind of add water slowly till you get it to kind of like I guess like a wet pancake type mixture. Maybe, I think mine's a little bit thinner than that, but not much. Excuse me. Blasting it with some heat, just trying to get it dry. Like I said, it dries really quickly. It's probably, I don't know how fast the real stuff dries, but this stuff dries pretty quickly. If I continue to do mixed media pages and use modeling paste, I might consider buying some just to see the difference. But as of right now, I'm not using it enough to go purchase $15 worth of modeling paste. I also used another one of those masks, and I used some acrylic paint. And as you can see, that those masks are really good because that acrylic paint pretty much came out, like the design. It did smudge in a few places, but that was my fault, not the mask. I was trying to cover a mistake over there in that left corner. When I was putting the paint down, it kind of squirted over there, and then I just splopped the mask on top of it, and when I did, it actually made a bigger mess than what was already there. So, yeah, and then I try to cover it up a couple of times, but it's mixed media, you just kind of have to go with it sometimes. Oh, excuse me. So I'm going back to my pictures, and I wanted to do that kind of random diagonal kind of design. Picking out some papers to maybe mat on the pictures on. And I ended up designing on that kind of turquoise diamond shaped paper for 2 of the single pictures, and then the 2 pictures that were going to be together was this pink pattern paper that's to my right there. So the thought process is I'm going to mat these together, and then the other 2 will be single. And I'll put them in that diagonal type of design that I kind of laid out in the beginning of this. And I don't know what the problem was, but after I did my background, it was like I could not get those pictures placed the way I had envisioned them. No matter what I did, I moved those things around so many times. This has probably been one of the few times that I've ever scrapbooked that I just could not make what my idea work. I just couldn't make it work. So, as you will see, through the process, I end up pretty much going a totally different way. I like the way I went, but it was kind of funny. See, as you can see, I totally scrapped the turquoise kind of diamond paper and went ahead and matted those other 2 pictures on that same pink pattern paper. Now I'm just trying to tear a little bit, stick strips in there, and build, some layers. And I'm just, randomly placing them like I normally do. But the more I placed, the more I covered up all that wonderful mixed media that I just created. And I was thinking to myself, why are you covering all this up? You just did all this. You did all this work. But I continued to cover it up, and it just got worse. I don't know what was going on, but I just couldn't figure it out. Couldn't make it work. And that rose kind of paper, normally that frilly paper like that, I don't love and don't get to use a whole lot, even though I have a girl. But I don't normally use it. But I love this paper for that, and it didn't get used. I was kind of disappointed that it didn't get used as much or as well, I guess, as it could have for this layout. So I was kind of disappointed about that. Now I'm just kind of thinking, let me put some things down permanently and see if I can make it work that way. But as you can tell, I can't. I can't get it to work the way I want. It was so aggravating. I don't know if it was because this is the first time I've taped myself doing it too, that I was trying maybe kind of too hard to fit it in and to do it the way I thought it needed to be done. Because I was thinking, it needs to be a process for this. But next time I think I'm just going to record and go with it and not think about trying to make it a process or that kind of thing. Just create and see how that works out. So yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, I really don't like this. This is horrible. So I just start ripping paper off. And, luckily I hadn't stuck it all down a whole lot. Those little stickers from Recollection, I really like those because you can move them and you can stick lots of layers down and they kind of stay, but they're not totally permanent. Yeah, so this is where I totally scrapped everything. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to go with one row of pictures. So I pulled out some doilies and started digging through my, embellishment stash, trying to see what I had. The story ticket is an old Tim Holtz story ticket. And I cut the title with my Pazzle. Stuck some corrugated paper that I had bought out of my stash, which I really like that corrugated paper because it's got like little printed designs on it, like polka dots or damask. So it just kind of adds texture, but also a pattern too. So the leaves are a cut file by Wilna Furstenberg. I think that's how you say it. Check out her stuff. It's really cute. She's got lots of stuff on there that you can purchase for your cutter. Those are some stickers that I got from Hobby Lobby, and they're Mombi stickers. They were kind of around the Project Life. They're for like photos to stick on the photos. So I actually bought them for my sister's book that I'm doing for her wedding, but I ended up using a few on this picture. I may have to go back to the store and get some more because I really like these. And so in that little right corner, I'm just trying to create some paper strips down there to kind of ground that title. The title right here kind of looks like you can't hardly read it. But whenever you're looking at it from a different angle, you can actually read it a lot better. But I probably should have added a little more down there. Maybe kind of like a circular piece, half circular piece. For blessing to sit on. I think that would have been better. And I might go back and add something later. Yeah, just trying to get all that stuff stuck down. Because that gesso, you need to use wet glue. Because that gesso, it just doesn't, those little sticky things just don't stick to the gesso. So you'll see here in a little while that the whole picture mat, even though I stuck all that down, I still ended up having to stick some wet glue in there to try to keep it in place. And I've learned over the years that it's better to kind of place everything and then go back and glue it. Because if you just start gluing it down, you don't have the wiggle room or the play to fix something if you don't like it. I mean, it's usually when I stick stuff down, it's usually stuck. Or it used to be at least. Now I don't stick it so much. I just do a little bit. Because I tend to move stuff a lot more than I used to. But that was just a process I had to go through when I started out and that kind of thing, that learning how to build layers and not always stick everything down to me. Those little owls I found at the dollar bin at Michael's a couple years ago, and it had like birds and different things in there, and they were different colors. They also had some bling in them, which kind of matched them, and I also got that too. So I'm just trying to stick down the blessing title, Easter blessing title, and I'm pop dotting that just to kind of get it, some dimension. I should have added probably a little half or semicircle type piece of paper right there where blessing is sitting, just to kind of ground it some more. I might go back and do that because you could probably actually see blessing a little better it kind of gets washed away with that modeling paste behind it. It's not so bad at a different angle, but this angle in the camera, it just kind of looks really washed out there. So sorry about all the pausing. I don't know what's going on with this video. There's that bling I was talking about. I pulled it out, and I pulled out some buttons and some wood veneer pieces, and just adding that to my layout. That's what I wanted to add. And there is a little journaling card. I'm going to use more for decoration than journaling. I was just going through my, embellishment stash, trying to look and see what I had, and what I didn't have, I went and actually used some scraps to cut out the pieces. Now this little leaf that I'm going down is a Wilna Furstenberg. I think I said that earlier. And then the spring is just something that was with my cutting software that I cut with, the Sure-Cuts A Lot. It was in their files. The bunny and the butterfly too. So if you have that program, you probably have those cut files. Just placing buttons, placing the wood veneer, gluing some more down because I couldn't get it to stay. People make this layering look really, really easily. I guess because they do it all the time. But layering is a process that you have to kind of get used to doing. And you also have to get used to buying all that little stuff too, or cutting it out and having it ready, having all those little pieces ready, because most people that do layering get stuff like that in a kit and it's already done. I personally want to use my stash up first, but that's my layout, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And here's some stills.